everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be unboxing the Pappy Boyington Ace expansion for Blood Red Skies. This is a World War II airplane game from Warlord Games. We've covered it in the past on the channel, and I thought I'd show off this box for you to see what new things, some of the new things that they're coming out with. So why this particular box? Well, I'm a big fan of the Corsair. It's my favorite plane of World War II, and when they announced it as an expansion, I had to pick it up to check it out. And I went with Pappy Boyington because at my age I grew up with the show Bob Black Sheep. You may recall. Let me know down in the comments below if you do. It was also renamed Black Sheep Squadron, I think, in the second season, but I always remember it as Bob Black Sheep. So it has the box. This is just the expansion for this particular pilot, so it's not the squadron, it's just one plane. And on the back here we have the contents. We have one Corsair, one flying base, double-sided pilot skill disc, aircraft card, aircraft traits, 2 ace skill cards, 1 Pappy Boyington ace card. There we go. So let's open it up and take a look. Alright, here we go. We've got the contents of the box. We've got one of the Blood Red Skies unique advantaged and disadvantaged bases. If you haven't played the game before, you really don't have hit points in this game per se. You are either advantaged or disadvantaged, and you force the other plane out of the game from an advantaged state. So it's an interesting way to do it. So these are the standard bases that came with the initial box set. They include this expander. I forget what they call it. I don't even see it listed on the contents, but the original models were all plastic, and this base was just fine for plastic. But they started to build these models in metal, or they have some other company building them, and if you put a heavy metal airplane on here and tip it over, it just falls right over on its face. So this is designed to counter that, so that just kind of plugs into there, and then it gives you extra support for tipping forward and back so that these metal planes don't tip. So it's kind of a clever solution. And then if you want to put a plastic plane on here, you can just pull it out and it's fine. Alright, we'll save the model for a moment. We're going to come in here and look at the cards. So it's packed for us by V or Czech. These actually feel like decals. Now the original box set was a little disappointing on the decal front because they just gave us stickers. I did not use them. I bought third-party decals. These are actually a decal sheet. Nothing too fancy. It's just stars and the star and bar. But it's better than stickers, so I appreciate the effort there from Warlord. Then we have an ace pilot card. This is for Pappy. He has his signature trait, ace skill cards, tough and comeback king, piloting skill 5, and then a little history blurb on the back. If you haven't read any history about Pappy Boyington and the Black Sheep Squadron, I recommend you go look it out. It's a pretty cool story. Then you have the this disc basically goes on here, kind of like how X-Wing does it. I think these are initiative markers or something along those lines. I can't remember for sure. Then we have tough and comeback king. These are the ace skills that Pappy comes with. You have tough, which is in reaction to an ace being hit by shooting, no boom chit is caused by the hit if the ace dodges it. Oh yeah, those are boom chits. And then you have comeback kid. Play in reaction to an enemy shooting at a disadvantaged ace. If the ace critically dodges, rolls 2 or more successes, a shooting attack, while disadvantaged, he becomes neutral. So that's pretty cool. And then I think these are Corsair specific cards, aircraft traits. You get robust, which is plane in reaction to a robust plane being attacked, reduce the number of dice rolled for the attack by 1, and then you discard it. And a great dive, on a plane with this trait, burning advantage to dive, and then add the plane's maximum move instead of 6 when burning advantage to dive, and then you can discard it. Then you have the card itself. And we'll bust out the box and compare this to some of the other aircraft that I have, so you can kind of get a comparison to what it is, and then some history on the back. Then we have the model. And it's packed by Iwana, thank you. Now there's some flashing on here, but that's totally to be expected with these metal models, and usually they're either pull off or very easy to just trim with clippers or an X-Acto knife. You can see the detail. It's molded with rockets, which is a little unfortunate because only certain models of Corsairs had rockets or that capability. I don't think the F4U 1A did, at least not initially. And they're not very well molded on. You can't really, I mean, they're just kind of smushed there. But otherwise, looks really good. Looks like a Corsair to me. I'll bust out a couple other models and show you kind of scale-wise what this looks like. The Corsair was always kind of a big beast of a fighter. All right, so here is the Corsair. This is the plastic Zero. That was one of the first in the, I don't know if they go by waves, but it was like the first wave that was released. And we'll take a look at the Zero's card compared to the Corsair. So they both have 2 firepower, 3 maneuverability, speed 7 for the Zero, speed 9 for the Corsair. The Corsair is fast, it's known for its speed. And the Zero gets tight turn and vulnerable. The Corsair gets a great dive and robust. So firepower 2 is pretty consistent for the American planes in this game. They all have you know, 650 cals for the most part. The Corsair, the Wildcat, the Mustang. So it makes sense that they all have the similar firepower. Maneuver of 2, which is not as maneuverable as a Zero. Historically, that's good, that's correct, and being faster is good too. So I don't have any problems with the way this is statted compared to something like the Zero. Now, we can also take a look at, we'll zoom out a little bit more since we're adding more planes, Wildcat. So this is a metal model. And let's take a look at those cards. The Wildcat to Corsair, same firepower of 2, which I mentioned earlier. The Wildcat only has a maneuver of 1 and a speed of 6, and it has robust but not great dive. Technically, I would argue that the Wildcat might deserve great dive as well. It was one of the things it was known for, but it is what it is. So you can kind of see that the Corsair, at least as far as I'm concerned, is pretty well pointed for what, not pointed, but pretty well statted for the historical accuracy. All right, just to kind of show you the model compared to the other one, I contend that the plastic models are a smaller scale than the metal models that came later. And I know this is a review of the Corsair, but just to give you an example, this Zero model compared to this, which is plastic, compared to this metal Wildcat, the Wildcat is significantly larger, which in real life it was a small plane. It's smaller. I think they had about similar wingspan, but it's pretty big. And I think all of the plastic ones that came out, like here is a plastic Mustang, are to scale with each other or close enough. But the Mustang's a bigger plane than the Wildcat, and it's just, you know, kind of an awkward scale there. Now, compared to the Corsair, which is a bigger plane, that looks about right. I don't have the stats with me, but the Corsair was bigger than the Wildcat, and that's what we're getting here. So I suspect, and prove me if I'm wrong or leave a comment down below, that the metal ones are scaled larger than the plastic ones. So I hope if that's the case, eventually they come out with metal versions of things like the Zero, because I like to play everything in scale with each other. I know I've brought it up on the forums or the Facebook page, and some people agree, some people disagree, some people just don't care, and those are all totally valid points. If you know your Zero is a little bit smaller than your Wildcat than it should be, in the grand scheme of things, who cares? But it's something I notice, and but again, all of the metal ones seem to be to scale with each other pretty close, at least the ones I've received. So there you go. All right, rant over for scaling. So that's a quick unboxing for the Blood Red Skies Pappy Boyington Ace expansion from Warlord Games. The model is cool. The stats of the Corsair look good. The special rules I don't have a problem with. The ace skills they've given Pappy seem appropriate, seem thematic, which is important with this game. Blood Red Skies is a fun game. It lets you play all of your your traditional and famous World War II fighters, and lets you get them out on the table at a scale that is nice and easy to paint. They're not too hard to paint, and when they're done, they look pretty good. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Is this a controversial take on these models? Do you guys what do you guys think? Let me know. As always, we'd appreciate a like and subscribe. Click that bell so you get your further notifications when we post stuff. Also check us out on Facebook at All Miniatures Great and Small, where you can keep track of what we're up to, and behind the scenes stuff as well. As always, thanks for watching, and keep on wargaming.